Hey everyone, I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day out there today. Big news coming out of the East Coast. MicroStrategy's chairman, Michael Saylor, recently proposed that Microsoft should invest in Bitcoin, suggesting it could significantly enhance the company's market value. However, despite his best efforts, Microsoft has decided to not go forward, and all of the transaction did, pretty much stop right there. Okay. So we all know Saylor is going to be advocating for Bitcoin on his beliefs and whatnot. However, there are just a few things I think we need to understand about this. Most companies are doing their own thing right now, but the overarching theme that they all have in common is, at least a lot of them in tech, is they're all trying to focus on AI. How can we make money off of AI? I think it's okay if Microsoft does not buy Bitcoin. In fact, I don't even see personally a need why they would need to buy Bitcoin. They're making tons of profits. They're doing just fine on their own. They really don't need to have that asset on the books, especially because since they are such a large corporation, we know that, let's say a Democrat comes back into office in 2028, that could work against them. They're just being safe here. And then when you think about this going forward as well, what's their priority? It's AI. They're focused on getting as many chips from NVIDIA as possible, Intel as possible, so they can build up the new world order, so to speak, of everything involved AI. We've been focusing on AI so much. There's AI tokens out there. And what I think what Microsoft is excelling at that Microsoft doesn't understand is, sure, they're not buying Bitcoin, but they are loading up and they are doing a lot of work when it comes into blockchain technology. I don't think this gets talked around too much. They work a lot with NFTs. I'm not talking about the drawings and stuff like that, but it's just the non-fungible tokens as far as how everything's moving, keeping track of everything, a more transparent system for everybody working there. That's a good thing. But if you're asking them to just buy Bitcoin for the sake of maybe making the balance sheet look a little bit better, I don't think it's really a plausible thing for a corporation like Microsoft. I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts on this, but I never really thought it had much of a chance in the first place. I think what it does is it just raises awareness for Bitcoin, and perhaps it helps more institutions maybe get into the space. But I'd honestly, I'd be more focused on getting governments to invest and not so much on corporations. Corporations will go at their own pace. Their main job is to make money. At this point in time, AI is working out for Microsoft. AI is working out for a lot of companies right now. And I don't think they need to focus on Bitcoin whatsoever. They should focus on making their shareholders a lot of money. And I don't know if Bitcoin really does that if you're buying at all-time highs. When it comes down a little bit afterwards, you gotta see where you gotta buy Bitcoin here. But I do like the way this is shaping up, but I think he should just, you know, tilt his head a little bit. Corporations? No, 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 no. Governments are where he's supposed to be going right now. I think that we have Canada, which can probably do it here pretty soon, especially if they have a new minister. I think Trudeau's on his way out, unfortunately for him. Mexico might be able to do so, but I'm not betting on Mexico in this circumstance. But we do have the neighbors of El Salvador, like Honduras, Belize. They may be going in. Russia, China becoming more crypto aware. I would say not fully embracing it yet, but I think they're getting the infrastructure ready for them to start taking larger shares. And especially those types of countries. You may say, Michael, you know, don't they have a little bit of Bitcoin, or maybe they're not going to have enough money to buy enough? They're going to be fine in all those. And in fact, whenever they have people that are scamming inside their country, scamming for Bitcoin, they can literally just confiscate that Bitcoin, add it to the national pile. So they're going to be able to get theirs as well. Europe, I'm curious to see what Europe's going to do, but I think Michael Saylor should be going around the world talking to these governments and kind of sharing the benefits of Bitcoin. I don't know if he has the charisma to really charm the non-corporate entities of the world, like a Putin or a Xi Jinping, or Macron type of person. I know he is famous. I know he is loved in the crypto community and the blockchain community, right? But I'm not entirely sure if he has that. So I'm wondering if you guys know anybody else that is doing that, or if it's just Nayib Bukele down in El Salvador just saying, "Hey, look at this. We're doing great. We're doing great. We're doing great. We started buying. We've been in this for the long haul, and the long-term profits have really helped us out as a nation and as a country." It's stuff like that that I'm really excited about. However, as corporations, and you may call them just institutions, slowly roll into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, the overall price is going to go up over time, right? And that's just in the United States. Just wait for more corporations around the world to start buying more and more and more. We have more and more ETFs, and you've already seen the ETFs actually a little bit coming out of Hong Kong. People don't realize this, but Hong Kong ETFs were actually a small portion, not a large portion, but a portion of why Bitcoin hit $100,000 in the first place. So the more oomph and good feelings we have about Bitcoin, the more you're going to see institutions kind of taking a peek over here and like, man, they're making a lot of money. Ooh, now there's a legal way for me to buy Bitcoin where I don't actually have to hold the tokens. Maybe I can just invest in this ETF and they hold the tokens. I mean, that seems pretty good, pretty lucrative. I might have to put a couple percent in there, 1%, 0.5%. And that's all it takes for Bitcoin to go sky high. You guys have heard this a lot on the news, I'm assuming by now, whether it's Bloomberg or CNBC or Fox Business, even Yahoo Finance, right? There was a lot of money sloshing around that has not entered the markets yet. And it's a lot of money that was printed over the past few years. I think we forget how much money has been printed since 2020 and COVID. It's been a lot. I think 60% of all new money was printed after COVID. Like that's crazy. However, again, as we kind of absorb that, all of that money can be spent on Bitcoin. And now, of course, not even a fraction of it's going to be spent on Bitcoin. It's going to be a very, very, very small amount. But that very, very small amount will still move Bitcoin very much because, again, in the scheme of things, Bitcoin still has a relatively low market cap. I don't think people really understand that, especially because it's not just one thing where people in the United States have one market cap for it and it's on another exchange in Europe and with another market cap. No. The whole market cap is tied up around the world. So when you put that into perspective, we really have a long way to go, which is why we typically have our long-term portfolios, our cycle portfolios, and then possibly our day trading and swing trading portfolios in the middle right there. But for those of you guys that want to focus on the long-term portfolios, this is the type of news that makes you guys fairly happy overall, because you are seeing that outreach. Sure, it didn't really gain traction, right? But that outreach is just a sign that says, hey, crypto bros, crypto culture is on the offensive and we're making inroads, albeit slowly, but we are making inroads into the communities, into those institutions that have a lot of money that can, of course, push Bitcoin up and make us a lot of money. One more thing here. I do know that we have President Trump coming into office pretty soon, or President-elect Trump, let me say that. But it's going to take time for his new administration to really get things going as far as pro-crypto policy, potentially a cryptocurrency bill that may end up being tied up into the new tax reform bill. Who knows, right? There's a lot of stuff that has to happen. So even though we're looking very, very good right now, the most exciting stuff for cryptocurrency, and the market may be up or down at that point, we'll have to see. But the most exciting stuff for cryptocurrency and the future of it is all going to be happening in 2025. As we really see, is his new crypto czar really pro-crypto? Like how pro-crypto is he going to be? How much political capital are they going to spend on cryptocurrency? Is he going to fire the head of the Fed, Jerome Powell? The new head of the SEC, is he really going to be as pro-crypto as he says? Is he going to be like, hey, we're going to take back all these lawsuits against XRP. We're going to say, hey, you're right. We're sorry. We had a bad previous head of the SEC. We need to move forward. What's going to happen with all that? I'm super excited to see what can transpire, but I think it's just going to happen very slowly until all of a sudden, boom, we have some big news event sometime in 2025. I would say in the first 2 quarters of 2025, at the latest, maybe Q3 is when we have our big moment, but Q1 is going to be setting everything up, which is going to be a lot of news there because we get to see the plan, right? Q2 is them implementing the plan. Hopefully the plan goes through. Q3 is either leftover. What did they get to, or did something get pushed back, or was there some type of crisis that stopped us, like a debt crisis or a budget crisis? You know how the government likes to play their games and whatnot. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. The more I see people reaching out to these corporations, I think the better it is. I know Microsoft was a hiccup, but again, they're focused on AI, and I don't think we need to necessarily focus on every single corporation like that. I think it's better if we just focus on getting governments on board, and as the governments become more warm, institutions will slowly fall within their countries, right? If China says no Bitcoin, no Bitcoin, no Bitcoin, of course their hedge funds and whatnot are going to be no Bitcoin. But if China says Bitcoin, okay, maybe, then it takes a couple hedge funds and trying to say, let's put a little bit of money there. Let's just see what happens. Because by then they're going to have a track record of what's been happening over here, and they're going to be like, damn, they made a lot of money. We didn't make as much money because we couldn't do that. and they'd lobby to their government. I know it's a little bit more difficult in China, Russia, and Europe, but they'd lobby to the government to say, hey, we want a piece of that action, right? And hopefully they do it during a bear market or something like that. So we'll see. That way we can buy it below and we can sell very high as they push it up very, very quickly. Thanks.